G'day, Ben here on Three Legs. How you doing? I just wanted to do a real quick video to show you how easy it is to grab an image that you think may be way underexposed and turn it into something that you're happy with. This is an image that I took a few weeks back on my trip down south in Merimbula. It was sunrise, f9. I think it's 73 seconds from memory, yep, at ISO 64. I had the Lee big stopper on, so 10 stops of light, and sometimes you can take the photo and it looks really dark, and if you look at the histogram up here on the top right hand side, you'll see that it's all bunched up to the left, which could indicate that you're unable to save this image. But if I click on that little up arrow, you can actually see the areas where the shadows are so dark I've lost the information, and it's only a very small part of the image really. And I could end up cropping that out later. If I also make sure that the right one's highlighted, then as I increase the exposure, and I'll show you, I'll go up to +5, and this is, +5, you can see that there's only a little bit of red clipping here above that little rock in the water. And that shows you how far you can push an exposure without it actually being overexposed. Now it looks terrible here, but that's showing you what it looks like with it being completely all the way up, pushing it by 5 stops and increasing. So it shows you how easy it is to save the image. Now I'm going to just quickly make some adjustments. I'm not going to run through exactly what I'm doing or why. I'll tell you what it is I'm doing, but this is really just a quick and dirty video to show you how simple it is to take an image that looks like this. Let me just turn that off for a second. There you go. That looks like this, and make it something that's going to look acceptable to be able to share with the world. So the first thing I'll do is I'm going to fix the exposure. So let's go up, I don't know, 2.6 stops at this, sorry, 2.6 in the exposure value. If you have a look at the color, it's quite blue. Now, the reason for that is because the auto white balance has got really confused with the Lee big strip on there. So I'm just going to warm it up a bit. Yeah, that looks a little bit better, doesn't it? A little bit warmer. Bit of contrast. I like to drop the highlights, increase the shadows all the way. Look at that. Straight away starting to make some sense. Hold down the shift button, double click whites, double click blacks, let it automatically do its own thing. Give it some clarity, like so, some vibrance. Let's do some cropping. I think we can bring this in a little bit at the bottom. Let's bring this in at the left. Maybe a little bit down from the top. The sky's a bit boring. A little bit more from the bottom. Here we go, just cropping it up nicely. There we go. Alrighty, let's now do some local adjustments because I think that's pretty good at that point. So I'll grab the brush and I'm going to put my clarity on 100. And I'm going to grab my brush and square brackets, adjust the brush. And I'm just going to brush in some clarity on the rocks in the foreground to really make them stand out, like so. Let's get that brush a bit bigger. There we go. And this is just, this is real quick and dirty, just to make it work. Here we go. Don't even think that rock there is even 100% in focus. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Looks right. Okay, so that's that adjustment. Let's also grab another new adjustment brush. And this time, let's get rid of clarity. Let's use saturation. And we're just going to put it across our sky like so to really give it some color. Nice. All right, let's turn that off. It's still a bit blue. I'm going to just warm it up a bit more. So there we go. That's looking better. You can see by the water that it was a bit blue. Let's just lighten up this corner over here. So I'll grab a graduated filter and just drag it down over that. Let's get rid of the saturation of that filter and use exposure just to lighten up that corner. A little bit more. Why not? Not too much because it'll look unnatural. There, something like that. That's good. And then another little trick I like to do, which I'll show you here, is just grab the shift key, and that keeps your neutral density filter nice and square. That's got the saturation on 100, so we're going to get rid of that. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop the exposure on the top a little bit, like so. Not much, just 0.39, there we go. And then I'm going to do another one from the bottom, do the same thing. And that just, it's like a vignette, but top and bottom. And sometimes I do it with exposure, sometimes I do it with blur, and it can be quite a good effect. Alrighty, so there you go. So let me now just show you the before and after, because I think it's, that's very, very simple, very quickly done. So you can see from looking at that how much difference we've made in a very short space of time to that entire image. And the whole idea of showing you this is I've had people, ask a bit about post-processing, and I'm a great believer in using things like Lightroom. Now normally I'd spend a bit more time than that. I'd go into a bit more detail and, I'd probably do a few other things, like, for example, we didn't do any lens correction, but in here you can just do that. Just enable profile correction, just takes a bit of the warp out, stuff like that. Yeah, but otherwise you can see it's pretty straightforward. That's your before and after shot there. Pretty straightforward, very simple to do, and as you can see, easy to get good results with images that you think may be underexposed.